He's begging for you to let him out. You're laughing in the beginning, and then in the end it sounds kind of like no, it's not malicious.
Imagine a game of hide and seek. It's a childhood game, innocent and playful. Now imagine playing it as an adult, fueled by alcohol and laughter. You decide it would be funny to squeeze into a confined space, a suitcase. You zip it up, giggling, waiting for your partner to find you or let you out. But then, the zipper doesn't move. The laughter outside stops. The air begins to run out. You call for help, but the person who is supposed to love you doesn't open the bag. She stands over you, watching you struggle, and she starts recording. This is not a scene from a fictional horror movie. This is the terrifying reality of the final moments of Jorge Torres Jr. and the woman who watched him die, Sarah Boone. On the afternoon of February 24, 2020, emergency dispatchers in Winter Park, Florida, received a frantic call. A woman was hyperventilating on the other end of the line. She told them that her boyfriend was dead. She said, "My boyfriend is dead." When the dispatcher asked what happened, she claimed she had just woken up and found him inside a suitcase.
I put him in a suitcase and we were playing, and like kind of hide and seek kind of thing. So I fell asleep and I woke up and he was dead in the suitcase. So I don't know what happened.
When Orange County deputies arrived at the apartment, they found a bizarre and tragic scene. A blue suitcase lay on the floor near the front door. Next to it was the body of 42-year-old Jorge Torres Jr. He was cold to the touch. Rigor mortis had already set in, indicating he had been dead for quite some time. Sarah Boone, the woman who made the call, appeared distraught. She sat down with detectives and spun a story that sounded like a terrible, drunken accident. According to Sarah, the night before had been a fun evening. She and Jorge had been drinking wine, painting pictures, and working on a puzzle. They were in good spirits. She told the police that they started joking around about whether Jorge could fit inside the suitcase. She claimed it was a mutual joke. Jorge got in, she zipped it up, and they both laughed. Then, Sarah said she decided to go upstairs to bed, assuming Jorge would just unzip himself and follow her. She told detectives she fell asleep, and when she woke up the next morning, hours later, she came downstairs and realized he was still in the bag.
So you were playing and you zipped him up?
I did, but then I fell asleep.
Okay, you're okay. I wasn't here. I'm just trying to figure out what happened.
I fell asleep, so I don't know if you suffocated or like had an aneurysm or a heart attack or what.
What kind of medical?
At first glance, investigators had no reason to doubt her. It seemed like a case of extreme negligence, perhaps manslaughter, but not necessarily murder. Sarah played the part of the grieving, confused girlfriend. She cried. She wailed. She asked repeatedly if he was really gone. But as the investigators looked closer, the accident theory began to crumble. The first red flag was the suitcase itself. It was a soft-shell suitcase, but the zipper was fully closed. If Jorge had tried to get out, the zipper would have likely been forced open or damaged, yet it was intact. Furthermore, Jorge had scratches on his back and blunt force trauma on his head and shoulder, injuries consistent with someone thrashing violently against a confined space, trying to break free. But the real turning point came when detectives asked for Sarah's phone. In 2020, most people hand over their phones to police, believing that if they delete a few photos, they are safe. Sarah handed hers over, confident in her story. She didn't realize that the digital forensic team would find the smoking gun that would strip away her grieving girlfriend mask forever. Deep in her camera roll, they found 2 videos. These were not videos of a couple laughing. They were videos of a slow, agonizing execution. The first video starts with the camera pointed at the blue suitcase. It is face down on the living room floor. You can see the shape of a human being inside, pushing against the fabric. Jorge is frantic. He is yelling Sarah's name. In the video, you can hear Jorge clearly say, "I can't breathe."
Sarah. Sarah, I can't breathe, babe.
He says it multiple times. Sarah, I can't breathe, seriously. A normal person, upon hearing their partner gasping for air, would drop the phone and unzip the bag immediately. Sarah Boone did the opposite. In the recording, her voice is steady. It is cold. There is no panic. She says to him, "For everything you've done to me, fuck you."
For everything you've done to me.
Sarah.
For everything you've done to me.
Sarah.
Fuck you.
Jorge continues to beg. He yells, "I can't breathe, babe." Sarah replies, "That's on you." "Oh, that's what I feel like when you cheat on me." This dialogue changed everything. This wasn't a game. This was a punishment. Sarah was using the suitcase as a torture chamber. She was equating his physical suffocation with her emotional pain. She was taunting a dying man about his infidelity while he gasped for his final breaths. The second video was taken a few minutes later. In this one, Jorge's struggles are weaker. He is still calling out, but his voice is muffled and desperate. Sarah is still recording, still watching.
Sarah, I can't breathe, babe.
Oh. That's what I feel like when you cheat on me.
Sarah.
Fuck you.
Fucking breathe, Sarah.
Yeah. You should probably shut the fuck up.
Sarah.
She didn't go upstairs to sleep as she claimed. She stood there and watched the life drain out of him. When detectives brought Sarah back into the interrogation room for a second interview, her demeanor was completely different. She kept insisting it was all a game. Then, the detectives laid the phone on the table. They pressed play. Watching a suspect realize they are caught is a unique psychological experience. As Sarah watched the footage of herself mocking her dying boyfriend, she didn't break down in remorse. She didn't vomit. She didn't cry for Jorge. Instead, she went into self-preservation mode. She tried to tell the detectives that she didn't remember recording it. She claimed the alcohol made her blackout. She said, "It wasn't intentional. I would never do that to him."
You all, listen. I did not intentionally kill him.
She tried to argue that because she was laughing in parts of the video, it proved she didn't think he was in danger. She tried to convince seasoned homicide detectives that ignoring a man screaming, "I can't breathe," was just a misunderstanding. But the facts painted a darker picture. After Jorge died, Sarah didn't call 911 immediately. The timeline suggests Jorge died sometime in the night. Sarah didn't call police until the next afternoon. What was she doing during those missing hours? Prosecutors argued she was sobering up, realizing what she had done and trying to formulate a story. The relationship between Sarah and Jorge was undeniably toxic. Police records showed a history of domestic violence calls involving both of them. They both had been arrested in the past for assaulting each other. It was a volatile, alcohol-fueled relationship that had been spiraling toward tragedy for years. But being in a toxic relationship is not a legal defense for locking someone in a suitcase and leaving them to die. The aftermath of the arrest was just as bizarre as the crime itself. Sarah Boone became a nightmare defendant. For 4 years, she sat in jail awaiting trial, and during that time she went through 8 different defense attorneys. She became famous in the legal community for writing handwritten letters to the judge, complaining about her lawyers. She claimed they were disrespectful, that they didn't believe in her, and that she wasn't getting a fair shake. She demanded to be addressed properly. She complained about the media coverage. She seemed more concerned with her reputation than the fact that she had killed someone. At one point, the judge became so frustrated with her inability to keep a lawyer that he ruled she had forfeited her right to court-appointed counsel. This led to the spectacle of Sarah Boone representing herself for a period, standing in court in her orange jumpsuit, trying to argue legal motions with the arrogance of a seasoned attorney but the skills of a novice. Eventually, she secured a lawyer for her trial in late 2024. Her defense strategy was battered spouse syndrome. Her team argued that she suffered from PTSD due to Jorge's abuse, and that on the night of the murder, she entered a dissociative state. They tried to frame the Suitcase incident as an act of self-defense, a woman finally snapping after years of torment. But the jury had to weigh that theory against the cold, hard evidence of the video. Self-defense requires an imminent threat. When Jorge was zipped inside that bag, he was unarmed, immobilized, and begging for his life. He was not a threat. He was a captive. The prosecutor emphasized the cruelty of her words. "That's what I feel like when you cheat on me."
I can't breathe, babe.
Oh. That's what I feel like when you cheat on me.
Sarah!
That sentence proved motive. It proved she wasn't afraid of him in that moment. She was angry at him. She wanted him to suffer. She wanted him to feel trapped. On October 25th, 2024, after just 90 minutes of deliberation, the jury returned with their verdict. They found Sarah Boone guilty of second-degree murder. The tragedy of this case is the intimacy of the violence. Most murders happen quickly. A gunshot, a stab wound, a moment of rage. This was a slow, prolonged event. Sarah had minutes, perhaps hours, to change her mind. Every second that Jorge was in that suitcase was a second she chose not to unzip it. Every time he begged for air, she made a conscious decision to keep recording rather than help. It serves as a grim reminder of how alcohol and resentment can turn a domestic dispute into a torture session. It also highlights the role of technology in modern justice. Without that video, Sarah Boone might have walked away with a slap on the wrist for involuntary manslaughter. Her own desire to document her power over him became the very thing that ensured she would spend the rest of her life in prison. What do you think? Was Sarah Boone a victim who finally snapped? Or was she a cold-blooded killer who used a game of hide-and-seek to exact revenge? And if you found yourself in that room, would you have unzipped the bag? Let us know in the comments below.